My people, what's up, everybody? We're back. Episode 3. Man, I'm so excited, man. Shout out to all you guys, man, that's been reaching out to me. I love y'all. You know who you are, man. I do it for you guys, for those that listen in. So thank you guys. I'm happy to be back here. I'm here with my beautiful wife. Say what's up, what's up?
Everybody.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up?
So we're back here, episode 3. Man, it's been a long month. Seriously, I feel like it's been a busy month. It's been a crazy month. I feel like so much has been
Yep.
going on. I feel like the world is like so many things in the news. It's just like a lot.
Yeah, thank God we
Yeah.
came back refreshed from our vacation. So
Seriously.
we're able to be okay with all of these news.
Man, I want to share with you guys too my vacation and everything. But real quick before we start, you guys heard that entrance beat that was going on there. Man, I want to give a quick shout out to my brother Danny and also my brother Abraham. That was both of them on drums and guitar. Man, it was sick. I love it, man. I'm blessed to be able to have friends that are such great musicians. And yeah, that beat is amazing. If you guys don't follow them on IG, go follow them. You know, you have my brother Danny. It's Sir Dan, SIRDANN. He's on the drums. Go listen to him. He got some great contact there. And also my brother Abraham, which is ABRAHM guitar. Go listen to him. You can see he has a lot of solos on there. You can see a couple of stuff with his guitar. Man, the guy's a beast. They're both a beast. So I appreciate you, brother Dan, for allowing me to use this track, man. It's amazing. I love it. I love hearing it. It just sounds so good. It sounds clean. So quick shout out to them, guys. Quick shout out to them. But yeah, guys, we're back. And we just came back from a beautiful vacation.
Yes, and you were right. El Salvador is beautiful. It's so amazing. I wish I could be there and not come back. And I'm just kidding. There's nothing like home. Like it's you could be anywhere. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but you can be in like super beautiful areas, but there's nothing like being at home.
Yeah, that's facts.
And I missed my dog so much. Like I miss just being able to get in my car and grab my coffee whenever I feel like it. Like, I don't know. I guess just that independence that brings living here where we live, you know, that I don't have that over there in El Salvador, no matter how safe it is. Because I will say that being in El Salvador felt safer than being in
some parts around here.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like that's
true.
That's wild.
Yeah, so we were at the trip, man, and this is not because I'm from there. I'm not trying to be biased.
As he's wearing an El Salvador shirt, but
yeah, but you know, it was amazing. It was a great trip. I mean, that president really has changed a lot of things over there. You know what I mean? I remember growing up as a kid, I always wanted to visit El Salvador, like, you know, with the family and whatnot. But I think it was like my parents would never let me. Because if people from there, they know like the history of
people fled from there.
Yeah, you know, either the Civil War or the gangs, right? It was like the biggest things that country had, and it was corrupt. Like, you know what I mean? It was like the murder capital of like the world, like, you know what I mean? So that place was dangerous, but now going over there, like the fact that like I just rented a car and it was just me and you out there traveling anywhere we went, like. It felt good.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
Things that even like in other countries, like you don't even feel that comfortable doing. It's just being by yourself in a whole other country. I don't know.
Especially a country where like you couldn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? It was scary.
Yeah, but it was nice. And I thought it was pretty cool how like I know a lot of Salvadorians, and even being a hairdresser, I always had a lot of Salvadorian clients. And if there's anyone listening to this podcast and you were my client, you know, we always clicked. Yeah. I always clicked with Salvadorians. And the thing is that they always talked very highly of their country. But being over there, talking to Salvadorians, you know, from there that never left, like, and hearing their side of the story, how they living the change from like bad, you know, being able to literally like being scared to even cross the street to like, you know, now how things are, like being able to speak to locals, being able to speak to family, like that was super cool experience.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but it's something that I noticed over there was that there were some parts that we went to and some people that we talked to, and you kind of still felt like a pressure of like sadness over you. I don't know if you felt it over there, but like there was just certain areas sometimes when you just sit there and and it kind of soaks in. And you're like, man, like, you know, a couple years ago, you couldn't do this what you're doing now. Like it wasn't allowed. Or when we went into there's a place in El Salvador they call like Las Margaritas, and like it was like a gang like territory, like the highest. And I remember we were driving, we were going back to our hometown. Remember, we got lost, and I'm like, we're like in the middle of that like town, and we're like, you know, I told my dad, and my dad was like, man, if like that was back in the day, like, you know, you probably even made it out.
Well, yeah,
there.
the locals were like, people would accidentally go to certain territories and they would not make it back.
Yeah,
and they don't know what happened
stories.
to them. Like bodies just completely disappeared.
They just disappeared. Oh,
so that was pretty intense. And I agree with you with what you're saying about how like you feel that like presence of sadness. I think it's because these people are like, this is all super recent still. Like all the changes are super recent. It's also super recent, you know, like them seeing their own family members being incarcerated, or, you know, it's a lot that they're going through, a lot of emotions, like, you know, going from like scared to being able to be free. It's kind of like weird,
and people are still going through that process. You feel it because some people are more quiet about it. They don't really want to talk about it, but
literally, like I felt like the people who talk a lot, like, you know, just personality, and like they're willing to soltar a little bit, you know, but some people like they don't really talk about it. They're like, like we would question them like, hey, you know, how are you feeling about this? They're like, good. But that's it. They won't say more. And a lot of people. And
it's because I feel like some people are so scared that, like, you know, everything can go back to how it was. You know what I mean? Yeah, they got a good president right now, and everything's good. But what happens when he's not there? What's gonna happen in the future? So people still live with that scaredness that it can all come back. And
and you know what's crazy? Also, that we went to a museum and on one of our tours that we did out there, and the tour was the museum was in Nahu.
Yeah.
What was that place called?
Nawasal, something like that.
And then the lady in the museum was talking to us about how there was a massacre and how people were terrified to talk about it. And it's crazy how Salvadorians are kind of like used to like being quiet about their experiences. You know, it's kind of like in that time. I mean, I can't speak for all, right?
Nahuizalco was the place.
So apparently this is an indigenous place. And when the Europeans came, they killed them all. And like people were scared of being Indian.
And there's no records of it.
There's no records of it,
Yeah, that was crazy. The lady was saying that even if you go to like the city hall and ask for records, there's no records of the people. There's just some people that you go in there and you look at the pictures that, you know, some of them that spoke up. But Salvadorans don't like to speak up.
There's still some survivors. There's like a few. They're very, they're elderly and like they're taking care of them. But the crazy part is that the reason why this was even brought out to light was because someone else, went and made a documentary about it. Yeah. But it wasn't like, you know, Salvadorians spoke up about this. So I find it, when I heard this story, I was like, what? Like,
it's crazy.
Crazy that, you know, people had to, it was crazy what she was saying. Like people would dig up their own hole and then they will get shot and then they'll fall into the hole and that's it. Like that's how how life was. And if you think about it, we were watching a video the other day about there was about 10 murders a day in El Salvador. A few years ago. 10 murders a day. Every single day.
I think it's way more than that. I think it was just
that was just records.
I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot.
And if you think about it, and like now kind of seeing some people like, I don't know if they're just trying to like not really like think about that anymore because it was like a very disturbing time.
When it comes to the gangs and like the history of it, the civil wars and the indigenous people, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just happy to see the country prosper.
Yeah, and that we're able to.
And you know what's funny? What the lady said? She goes, because it's funny that we're talking about the whole indigenous people from over there. But she said, you know, hey, you know, if you feel in your heart to go back, you know, it might be one of your ancestors was indigenous or something. Well, so like maybe I might have some type of like indigenous ancestor calling me over there or something. Promote,
I think she was saying that, you know, a lot of people they feel attracted to enter that museum. Yeah, and it's your ancestors calling you to the museum.
But low key, I just didn't want to spend money, so we chose the museum because it was free.
It was a very humble, cool. Very small little museum. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, if man, look, guys, I recommend you like visit El Salvador if you haven't. If it's not in your plans, I mean, I put it in your plans. I feel like it's just so much history there that you can do. Like the weather was beautiful.
Oh man, tropical.
Like
if
it
you
was
love
just
palm trees everywhere.
Yeah.
The weather is great. I mean, it's a little hot, but I could take it. And I'm from Boston,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you know we're used to all seasons, but it was
that
a
weather
time.
was nice. That weather was really. You know what's interesting about that whole thing there in El Salvador is that there was governments before this president there that's now, and how come none of them were able to ever change this country? You know, it makes you wonder about these other countries that are all like going through issues and they're corrupt and all that. It really takes one person to be the difference. You know what I mean? Like in my eyes, it's like this president said, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm changing this country and I'm destroying corruption. And it's literally what he did. And you see in the country flourish. And there's people that I get it. Like, look, because we spoke to a lot of people from El Salvador. Because there's people here, like, you know, human rights activists and those organizations saying that like what he's doing is bad to the prisoners and whatnot.
Inhumane.
But if you actually lived in the situation, I don't think you'd speak like that.
No, they would say one of our tour guide, the bus driver, was saying that they would shoot people because there'll be one of the gangs on one street, the other gang on the other, and they'll just be shooting and shooting.
Legit, like
all
blocks,
day long,
blocks across.
Just imagine that being scared of crossing the street because you're already on someone else's territory, like that.
And it's like these people didn't really respect, and it's like now, like, you know, I think the people that are allowed to talk are the ones that actually live there. Sorry to say it. If you like lived here and you grew up here and you never really grew up in El Salvador, if you're someone that was like me that
or just heard stories,
but if you're someone like me that was like actually just born here in the United States and
first time visiting El Salvador,
like, you know, giving comments, oh, that's bad with the you didn't live in the situations that they were in. And the people that lived there, from speaking to them, because we spoke to a lot of people that lived there and we just, you know, brought the conversation up to them. Some of them, because they have family members that were locked up, and I get it.
Majority
could some have been like maybe falsely in there? Maybe I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the majority is not. The majority, they have been accused of like murder. You know what I mean? If you have like the tattoos, you know, you're automatically considered one.
Or just being affiliated with them, like they would say that if you just took a picture with them or something.
And even if let's say you were in the gang and you have the tattoos of whatever gang it is, and let's say you change your life, I get it, right? You found God and you know you've changed your ways and you're not in that lifestyle no more. It doesn't mean you can't pay for all the damage that you've done before. That stuff in my eyes doesn't get erased. I feel like you still have to pay for that, even if you change your ways, because. Let's say now, okay, you become, because there's some cases where some gang member was a gang member, but he became a pastor, and then they ended up, because he was a pastor, you never noticed, but when the pastor took off his shirt, the back of his the story my uncle was telling me was the back of his back, the tattoo was like a king cobra, and it had like the huge, I think like MS or 18, whatever the gang was, and now he gets locked up. Maybe he's been out of the game for a while.
Yeah.
But he has caused some damage in the back, and
it just sucks because it seems like they have to pay the price now, like in a different way. Because we don't know if they pay the price, you know, already somehow. You know, like we don't know. Like
I don't see it paying the price, but more of like justice,
consequences.
Yeah, like in my eyes, like God is just.
Yeah,
I think God puts in account all of all of the things we do in life, right? All the bad things we do in life. I think God keeps that in account. And maybe you won't see it in the first couple of months, the first couple of days, the first couple of years. But 10 years down the line, something can be like, you know, happen when you're like, why is this going on with my life? And it's like, well, maybe now you're kind of paying, you know, for the consequences that you've caused years ago. And a lot of people, I don't know how you see that, but I think
people would say it's karma, right? Like what goes around comes around, or like every bad thing you do, you know, comes back somehow. The way I look at it is kind of like not so like, you know, there's God's punishment, right? Yeah. But then there's also just the consequences of your actions. It's like whatever you're doing, like to your body, for example. Is gonna show later on in life, you know. So, but sometimes, you know, some things are unexplained. Like,
but that's why your decisions are so important. When you're like, that's why your decisions are so important, because a decision I can do right now can seem something simple or whatever, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's just to better myself. It's what I need. But then it's like, if it's something bad, like a couple years down the line, it's gonna come back and like haunt you.
But then I think about the people who've done it all good on paper and then bad stuff still happened to them. For example, like someone who always took care of their health, super healthy, like, you know, did all the right things, ate well, worked out, took the vitamins, and then ends up having like a disease afterwards and dies early, or heart attack or something like. And then you see people who, you know, were smoking cigarettes and then lived till they were like 99. So
yeah, sure. You see
you know
that
what I mean?
too, yeah.
So that's why I'm saying like some things are unexplained.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show the corrupt world that we live in.
That's true.
Like we just live in a cursed world where bad things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of it kind of makes us think about how we should look at the world that we live in, and kind of be able to not take things so personally sometimes.
That's
like
true.
Why did this happen to me? Why am I living in this house, in this neighborhood? You know, why couldn't I been born in a rich family? You know, we always ask those type of questions, but it's kind of like, you know, like try to use those circumstances to shape yourself and make a character out of yourself instead of always looking at yourself as a victim. I think it's important.
It's true.
You know, to be successful at least.
It's crazy, man. And I don't know, but just like back to the El Salvador thing, I shout out to the president. It's great. Like I said, not just because I'm there, I don't want to boast about it, but it felt safe. Yeah. I wasn't like always looking over my shoulder if what's going to happen or scared. Like I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah, and people were really friendly too, like super comfortable, and even the roads, the pavement was nice. Like I don't know if it was just the area we were in.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
We drove from San Vicente to Sonsonate.
Something like that, yeah.
For people who are from there, that's where we drove, and then we went to San Salvador, and no traffic. We got lucky. I don't know. The roads were beautiful.
Yeah, it was the weekend.
And I mean, we're from. Literally, they're fixing our roads like every 2 days.
Where?
Here.
Oh yeah, here.
Lynn,
yeah, legit.
Like Lynn, Boston. Man, like what is up?
Construction every single day.
Like it's so bad. Like the roads are always bad. Always bad. And I'm like, how is that country like so much better to drive in than here? Like it's crazy.
You know what? It's a developing country. Shout out to them. I hope nothing for the best for them, and hopefully everything goes good for them, you know? And like I like what the president, I mean, I like his ideas, I like his ideology, you know what I mean? He puts God first in everything. And hey,
it shows.
It shows, you know? It shows. The United States, you want to believe it or not, God ain't first no more in this country. And I don't care what anybody says,
and
but
it shows.
And it shows. You know what I mean? Just with everything going on. This country, it's hard. It's tough. I love this country, don't get me wrong. But seeing all the corruption that's in this country, everything just, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell God is just not, like, he's upset with this country. And I don't think he's gone. I don't think he's away. I think he's still being patient with this country. But I feel like the day's going to come where he's going to be sick of it, you know?
And I think that society does a good job at trying to make us, like, not aware of the corruption and the evil stuff, whatever. It's kind of like, you know, like blind us with these things to keep us distracted constantly. And it's like, you know, there's always something happening in the background that, you know, we're choosing to be ignorant of it, or, you know, society's just really good at making us ignorant of it. But when you start to look at it and look deep in it, and I know some people don't want to get into that because it's depressing, but it's the truth. And someone out there is paying the consequences. And
something that we've been learning about lately, you know, at our church. And man, guys, you guys listen. Like
yeah, church has been super
like when you look at things into a deeper aspect of things, right? You get a more spiritual view of things, right? Because sometimes we're humans, right? So we see things just how it is in the front, right? But I believe that there's more. Like, it can't be that, you know, these things just happen. There's got to be like a darker force that really is manipulating everything to make everything go bad, to destroy what we have, to destroy what it is here. I mean, yeah, what we've been learning lately, you know, at the church about the demigods and all that stuff. It's, you know, it makes you wonder, like,
demons versus angels, and
demons versus
demigods versus, you know, again, God's army. It's a spiritual warfare. And there's a verse that I always thought about, and it didn't click until this topic came up, and it was like, we're not fighting with flesh, you know, we're fighting against
principalities and darkness. So it is true. Like when you read that verse, it's basically saying we're not fighting against each other here, human to human, right? There's darker forces that we don't see. And if you're like, yo, these guys sounds crazy, just look into it. Look at I challenge you, look into this and like try to like look deeper into these type of things, and you realize that like you look at the music industry, right?
Oh yeah, Jeffrey loves watching. Sometimes it'll be me, Jeff, and some other people. Jeffrey will put like YouTube videos of Taylor Swift, for example.
Swift is crazy.
And Jeffrey pauses all the time. He's like, "Did you hear what she said,
dude?"
It's
guys,
so funny, and I'm like, I never thought about that. And in that song, I think it was like I don't know if it's called Karma, but I know she's Karma is my something.
Yeah,
and he's like, Karma. She's literally like glorifying.
It's not that. Just look at the visuals. I mean, it's like, oh well, it's just art. Like,
yeah.
Look deeper into this. There's.
You can choose not to, right? And not look deeper into it and just be like, nah, she's just meaning this, right? But when you do look at it the other way, you can't see it.
Exactly, because in life we're taught that like, oh, we just kind of want to ignore it because it sounds good, it sounds nice, of course.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's super catchy. It's meant to be catchy.
It's meant to be catchy. It's meant to catch like your attention. So, but if you sit down and you kind of listen to the songs and you just watch the videos closely, like the Doja Cat one, like
that one, you don't even have to be like spiritual too. Everybody,
you know
knows
what I mean.
That
So it's like you have the church, you have the people that trust in God, that want to be spiritual, but you gotta understand that there's people also being spiritual in the dark side.
Yeah,
like there is people that are doing some things in the dark that we don't know. If look, I strongly believe that there's good and bad, right? There's God and there's the enemy, which is the devil, right? The devil hates humanity, and he's going to do everything in his power to destroy humanity and to keep us from meeting God and everything that God has to offer us. Because if he can keep us away, then he's kind of like, good, I have them in my hands. Like, they're not going to get away. And, and man, I just like sit back, and I forgot this girl that like I seen her on TikTok. She like now like talks about God, and even this whole Ryan Garcia thing, that he talks about the babies being sacrificed, this and that. People can be like, oh, it's a lie, it's fake, but is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back in the days in the Old Testament, they talk about sacrifices to these spirits and all that. You know what I mean? There's these things that people use to try to communicate with the enemy and these dark forces.
Yeah, kind of crazy now that I think about it, why like killing babies comes from like ancient times, like it's always been like let's kill something before it begins, or like like get rid of it before it has power, or influence, old enough to influence people, and like let's get rid of them, and now it's being seen. We don't know, right? People always talk about the elite, they talk about the island, and like all these stuff, but we really don't know what's going on. We don't know. Some people I'm sure know stuff,
and we try to ignore it.
They probably could never say it.
And the problem is we try to ignore it.
Yeah.
We try to ignore it. We try to just like, if it isn't affecting me, then why does it matter? Yeah. But is it not affecting you? You know what I mean? Like, where's it, I don't know. I love this life that we live in, but I believe that there's more to it. And I believe that at the end of the day, I don't die, and that's it. Like, there's nothing there left.
I think a simple way to start, like, if this is all like a lot, one simple way that, at least for me, it started before even learning about this stuff was when I watched the Testament of Moses on Netflix. Yeah. When I started watching that documentary, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, you guys should watch it.
It's so informative because it made me view, because for the longest time I couldn't understand why God hardened the Pharaoh's heart. Like, I couldn't understand it. And I'm still trying to understand that whole part. Yeah. But one thing that they said that just clicked for me was when in the documentary they say that in reality the war wasn't between Moses and Pharaoh. Yeah. The war was between the gods of Pharaoh, because he has 3 statues in the documentary, and they represented gods, right? Yeah. And then it was the war between those gods and Moses' God. Yeah. And out of the 10 plagues, those gods were only able to replicate the first 3, and then that's it. And then they started getting scared when they were like, whoa, like the God of Moses, he's doing too much. Like, this is power that we can't, But Pharaoh, he was being so prideful, so stubborn. He was like, no, I don't care until things got out of hand. And even after losing his kid, he still went after them. It's like, still, even he lost it all, and his pride just couldn't, it couldn't bend. But the whole point of the story of Moses finally clicked in my head it was never about them two. It was about what was going on behind the scenes, which forces that we can't see. The God of Moses versus the God of Pharaoh. And that's what's happening right now for us Christians or believers and for everybody, everybody. God is always going to want the best for us.
Of course.
He wants us to be, he wants to protect us, right? But there is always a darker energy who's trying to,
destroy us.
And the devil, he's always going to want to mess things up, and he's going to use
and that's happening.
power.
I mean, if you look at the wars and all these things going on, those are forces that are fighting against each other. I strongly believe it that it's, man, he wants to destroy the enemy wants to destroy us, man, wants to destroy the good that we have. But man, God is good. And like going back to like how we see this is kind of like, because we were just talking about El Salvador and then we got into this, but it's but it's to see that a country that like, a guy is putting God first, and we're starting to see the country flourish, right?
Yeah.
You're starting to see it like progress.
Example.
And then here you see a country in the United States where, we don't say the Pledge of Allegiance no more. You don't hear it, right? Everybody, when me growing up, I remember, right? I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which you stand, one nation under God. Right? Like, think about the Pledge of Allegiance is, it says under God. You look at our money, it's in God we trust. Like, God has been a big center of this country from the beginning, but now we want to take that all away. Yeah. Now we don't want that, and now we're seeing how this country so much is going on. There's so many I don't want to get into all the things that's going on because we'll get there eventually, right? But there's some things that are really not going for this country, and it sucks because the younger generation coming up, it's kind of like they're more in a technological thing now because with the phones, you have access to a whole computer on your hand.
Whoa, what a crazy experience that we went through at the mall, huh? When we were with a friend and she went to the Apple store, she tried on those. They have like the new. It's kind of like the Oculus.
The Apple Vision Pros.
Yeah, that's crazy because
that is crazy.
She said she literally felt like she was. I didn't want to do it, but she said that like it literally felt like she was in that place. And the reason why I didn't want to do it is because I knew I would feel kind of dizzy afterwards because we had the Oculus and we used it like one time.
AI is crazy. Even like the Oculus, if you have an Oculus, but even the Vision Pro, like it's like a whole different level. It's legit your phone you're in a different universe. Like, it's cool though. If I can afford one, I would get one. But it's it makes you those things that like reality. Like you don't have reality no more.
Think about how a computer looked like when it was first invented, right? That giant box. Now we have like iPads.
Something tiny.
Think about how right now those things are heavy on your eyes. They make you feel so many things, right?
Yeah.
This is the beginning. Like 10 years from now, the new what are they calling?
Which one?
The Apple Pro,
Apple Vision Pro,
yeah. So imagine what they're gonna look like 10 years from now.
It's just gonna be like regular glasses.
It's like the movie, the Player One.
Already Player One, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that movie. Like soon, we don't know where things are gonna be, and sometimes it's not good to try to like overanalyze things, but it kind of just makes you think like, okay.
But you think about like. I hate to bring the Bible into this again, but think about the Bible. It says like this stuff technology and this stuff would advance. Science will advance, like it will, and like it's all happening. We're all seeing it happen in front of our eyes, like because that AI stuff is insane, and even some like hotels we go to now, even some fast food spots, is like you don't need people no more. Like, machines do it all.
Yeah, that's
machines
true.
and robots do it all. It's like you need less of people and no more machine. And don't get me wrong, I love technology.
Yeah, it's
But it's gonna get scary to the point where
cool.
technology is kind of like overpowering.
And
us
it's crazy
everything
how
we
it
do.
makes us want to like be home more too. Kind of like
Yeah.
everything is accessible, so I'm just stay home. But we need the sunlight. Like literally,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy how like we're a place, and maybe because of where we live, but we don't
Yeah.
really get that much sunlight. But that affects our mood a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like everyone has seasonal
That's
depression
what
in
the seasonal
Boston.
depression,
Like
yeah.
it's common, and that's probably why we have a Dunks in every corner because it gives us like some type of dopamine or something. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I got my coffee, because we need something to like spike us up again. And it's
But think about why depression is probably so high now.
yeah,
The levels of people that have anxiety, depression. Why?
you're not leaving the house. You're
Because
not getting out of that.
you're staying in your phones. You got your video games. You got your AI stuff. Like, there's no need of you leaving the house anymore. You want to buy something, Amazon. You go whatever, just order it. You don't. There's no need of going out to the store no more. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to go to Walmart or Target and you don't go anymore because it's I'll just order it and they'll deliver
You know what's
it.
a great solution? Everybody should just get dogs.
Why? Oh yeah, because then they have
You
to
can
take them
walk
out.
them, yeah. Honestly, it's crazy because I like me. I'm in a journey where I'm trying to really like take care of myself more. And one thing I always see is always
Yeah.
don't grab your phone. Don't let that be the first thing that you do in the morning is grab your phone.
Yeah.
And
And majority of people, that's what they do, right?
yeah, I do that.
You use your alarm. Your
well, yeah,
alarm
we gotta
goes,
shut off our alarm. So
and
it's
you
like-
shut off the alarm. And when you shut off the alarm, you see, what I got. Who messaged me or what message do I have? My
Yeah.
email. That's the first thing we go to.
So what I try to do is I do shut off my alarm, and then the first thing I do is take out my dog. Why? Because if not, he will pee or do his thing in the house. Like he will. He's petty.
you have to get up.
So like he is just petty. He'll be like, "Oh, you're not gonna take me out? I'm gonna do it." Like he's a jerk. So I'm like, I
he's the
rush. I don't even use the bathroom. I
Yeah.
just put my pants on and I run out and I walk him and I get that sunlight. And man, what a difference! It really is a difference. But
But sunlight when it's kind of nice out. But
Yeah.
when you get out and it's like dark still,
I know.
and it's just cold.
Okay, speaking for the people who
Man,
wake up early.
Yeah. See, look, guys.
have luxury.
Look,
I
I
wake
used
up
to
at
be a
9.
huge Boston guy. For the guys that know me, it was like New England my whole life. I'm never leaving New England. I'm never leaving Boston. Like, I love this place. Like, I love the cold. Back in the day, catch me go sledding or something in the snow.
Yeah, when
catch
you're
me outside.
young, you don't care about the
Now?
cold that much.
Nah, like
Yeah, we're
shout
old
out. If I get the chance to go somewhere warm, like Hawaii,
Why do you think Tom Brady moved?
yeah. But if I could stop it,
Well,
but if I had the chance, I can't. The cold now, it's just annoying sometimes, and the warmth is nice and it feels good.
Yeah.
That's why the sun is so important. You know what I mean? And that's another thing you think of. You think I just have these crazy thoughts, which is like, think about the sun.
Yeah.
The sun is huge. Like the sun literally lights up everything. Like you never like. I think about that, like this night and day, and like a sun, like it's so big that brights the whole earth, but then it doesn't burn us. Like
If we were any bit closer to the sun, we would
like
burn.
the perfection of the solar system and the galaxies.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. Like everything just like makes sense. It sits perfectly. And even if they say like if it was off by a little bit or something, like then everything would be destroyed. And you tell me, like, how was that created, right? Yeah.
Right.
Someone powerful that says it just creates it with the power of their words. Because you can go through science and all you want, but all that's gonna lead you is a bunch of little rabbit holes, and you're never gonna find the answer.
I know.
And you could go to any biggest scientist in the world, and no one can give you a clear answer how everything was kind of created. But
Yeah.
I know it was created, but it's crazy. And yeah, seasonal depression, that's a real thing. But
No, but definitely.
I'm happy the good weather's coming back.
definitely getting off your phone and like going out in the sun, and then adding in a prayer walk, something like start like affirmations, like speaking out loud, like I don't know, things like that like have really helped me a lot. Like I've really seen the change and just I've grown up here my whole life, so I know I've been able to practice different things, and I know what it feels like when I just wake up and I'm just scrolling on my phone and I haven't even left the house
you
yet.
know what I mean? Like how are you edifying your body? Like how are you edifying your mind and everything? It's kind of like it's like you're going we want to better ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to better ourselves. We want to Yeah, and I think we have the ability to do that, but sometimes we just get lazy.
Yeah, and even like Uber Eats.
And I'm happy that the good weather's coming out because you could do a lot of that. But yeah, we get lazy. There's no discipline. There really is no discipline, and that I feel like that's just so important to have.
Yeah, I remember for the, like during COVID, we would always order our food.
Oh, yeah.
And like I like to take advantage to get in the car and get, you know, go out and grab it. You know, you're gonna see steps in,
guys,
something, and somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to say their name
I'm
right
not
now.
rich.
Put them out there, but
I'm not rich, man. But Uber Eats is expensive. Sometimes it's like a flex getting Uber Eats. Cause like
yeah, I don't know why. And what gets me more mad is when you order Uber Eats and it's the place like McDonald's and it's in the corner of our house.
It's around the corner, and it's
I just want
it could be
drink.
$12 to pick it up. They go there and get it.
Yeah,
and we end up paying like $40.
2-minute drive. 2-minute drive. You could probably walk there and get your steps in for the day.
But it's laziness. It's
Yeah.
true. It's laziness. That's what it is. There's nothing you can't beat around it. Like us, naturally, we just get lazy, but that's the problem. We have everything at access. Like, you know what I mean? When Uber Eats and DoorDash, all those things didn't exist, you had to get up and go get it. Like,
but that laziness is meant. Right, all this things that are accessible to us, right?
Yeah.
And laziness, it's meant to destroy us.
Yeah,
it's made to weaken our body. It's made to make us feel like
no, you don't
have to think about it. Just lay down, watch your show, press a button, it'll come to you. Yeah. Like no more having to think for ourselves, no more having to like fix up. Because think about it, if you're laying down on the couch and you're not moving, you're messing up your body. So then you start feeling lazy, like I don't want to get off, like you know what I mean. And that's not the way that God intended us to be. Like honestly, it's not. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, if you read like the Proverbs, it talks a lot about that stuff, like how to be. If you want to be, wise, read Proverbs, and read it Proverbs, really tells you how to like live a life where you will be successful. And it has worked. I've taken some tips from there, and am I perfect? No, not at all. But I would say that those things like come to my mind a lot of times when I'm feeling stuck. And I'm starting to notice like, man, like I'm not going anywhere. Like in my life, I've been kind of lazy recently. And then I think about those verses that have taught me a lot. And I'm like, okay, let me.
Legit Proverbs 1 literally says the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight. Legit, that like, it tells you what it's for.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, one of the verses say, and I'm not going to remember where verses are, but there's a verse that says that a person who neglects wisdom is a fool.
Yeah, right there. It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Yeah, it's true. And look, something like even in the military, coming up in the military, we were always taught, the chain of command. We were always taught to like follow orders, and I'm big on that. You know what I mean? If someone's like my boss, and even if you don't agree with your boss, it's your boss. You know what I mean? Like you gotta learn to respect the authority that is put upon you. Yeah. Anywhere you go, you gotta learn to respect that. And sometimes, when I feel like because I remember like in school, I was kind of like, hot-headed sometimes, and sometimes I have my smart remarks. I'm not gonna lie. I got my smart remarks and my smart comments sometimes. But if I didn't have God, I feel like I feel like sometimes I want to say something smart and God kind of puts like a tape on my mouth and kind of like hold it shut. Because sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's not worth, opening your mouth and now hurting the other person. And now you're causing more problems and more damage. I don't think that's the way it should be. I think that's where the wisdom comes and following the instruction and submitting it to your authority. You have to submit to your authority. God put them there for a reason. If you have a boss, I strongly believe that it's because God allowed that person to be your boss, and you have to submit to that authority, and God will have your back. Like, but when crazy. You disrespect it, it's kind of like, man, I hate it, man. I don't know. Sometimes if I see somebody that kind of like disrespects like the boss or something, I don't like that for me. Like,
it's crazy that you compare that. It's crazy that you compare that to work. But yeah, in a household, right? In a family household, right? The head of the household is the man. Yeah. And sometimes, us women, we want like sometimes we tend to challenge our husbands and there's problems caused, right? But there's a Bible verse in Ephesians 5:33 that says, however, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Yeah. So notice how it says, let the wife see that she respects her husband. It doesn't say let the wife see that she loves her husband, because, you know, like a woman is where her husband, she obviously loves him, but it's like respecting your authority, because in the Bible it talks about man being the head of the household, and women should respect the man. And there's not something more a man loves more than when their wife respects them. And I've seen that change when I started to respect you more and be more, you know, try to hold down my mouth. And then I remember going to a conference, and recently actually we went to a something called a youth rally. And it was pretty much like a place that we go and we worship God together, but then they broke us up into like 3 rooms where it's like single people, married couples, and teenagers. So then it was one of my like first time going in a while, so I didn't really know what to expect. And when I went into the marriage one, it was super cool, because like I always felt like I have to, like, I don't know, prove my point. Yeah. I always have to prove my point, especially to you, because, you know, I'm comfortable around you and I'm kind of like, no, you're not going to talk to me that way. And like, you know, all this stuff. And then one of the pastors said, he was a pastor and he was the one leading the conference. And he was saying that a woman shouldn't challenge her husband, because then he's just going to look at her as pretty much like a competition, like a man. He's not gonna treat her like a female and be that loving, like that. Because now you're looking at like another man. Yeah, like another man, like.
And this doesn't like, oh well, now that was the woman less than the man. It's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
And listen to this. Yeah. He said, no, he talked about that. Yep. And I remember it, because I was just like, whoa, super well said. He said, it's like thinking about your ears and your eyes. Which one would you rather lose? You know, of course, a lot of people will say, oh, I'd rather lose my ears because I want to see the world. But then when you think about it and you actually lose one or the other, you don't think about it that way. You need both of them. You want both of them, and they're equally needed. But they do different functions, just as a man and a woman.
That's fire.
Right? We have different functions. As a husband, you have a function, a job, and as a woman, I have a job. And this Bible verse is saying, man, love your woman. Yeah. You know, because that's something some guys, not all guys, but some guys tend to be like really manly and tough. And it's like, you forget to be loving to your wife. You forget that, you know, where, you know, a lot of females, like, we like to be treated with sweet words, and like, we like that gentleness. And guys actually like that from a woman too. And that's why that verse is saying that a woman needs to respect her husband.
Because all guys, be honest with me, all you guys that are listening that are in relationships, you might be hard with your boys around, but you know, you like being the little spoon when you're in bed at night alone. Like everybody got that little, you know.
Yeah, and the thing is that when there's no communication or there's nobody like teaching you these stuff, because think about how we started dating since we were teenagers. Who guided us? You know, who sat down and told us, hey, Jeffrey, this is how you're supposed to treat her house, and this is the way you're supposed to treat a man. No, like we've
learned this stuff on the way.
Yeah, like kind of messing up. You know, me thinking I have to, like, no, you can't talk to me that way. I'm gonna fight back. And then it's like, you know, as we mature and then we hear these teachings, and it's like, hey, like, if you want your husband to be more, you know, lovable with you, then maybe you should start respecting him and seeing him as that head of the household, that authority, because that's what he is. He is that authority. And it's crazy how, like, everything circles back, like everything in the Bible, right, can be applied into your life in different forms. It starts at home, and then the same thing at work. Same thing. It's like, okay, you know, you have to respect your boss, no matter how annoying they can be. And you get that temptation to talk about them with your coworkers. Because there's nothing more fun than being with your coworkers and talking, man. You know, about you know, your job and stuff like that. And it's easy to point the finger about your boss until you're in that position. Exactly. Because when you're in that position, it sucks to know that everybody hates you. Because, you know, you're telling them that they have to do their job. But it's just, you know, if we all can respect our authority,
facts,
then...
Man. That's facts, man. You gotta respect the authority that's been given to you. You know, you need it. You need authority. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody can really live life
There will be no
normally
order.
without having some type of authority over them. Yeah, there'll be no order. You know, everybody gotta have some type of authority over you, and wherever you are, like if you're listening to this and your boss has been maybe stressing you out, your manager's been stressing you out, you know, ask God, like, yo, help me out with this boss, with this manager. Like, you know, let me submit to the authority of this person, and it just becomes less stressful.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, you got, you know, you got to know your place. And one day, like you said, right, if the opportunity comes up, God can put you in that position.
Yeah.
And imagine how bad it will look that if you just down talk your bosses and now you get there, now everybody else is gonna like down talk you. You know, it looks bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you lift your bosses and then the opportunity ends up coming for you, then the people that were under you uplift you as well.
Yeah,
And it could be hard. It could be very stressful. It could be very hard because sometimes, depending on the business that you're in, some things can be very, very stressful, and you have to be like in your mind, you have to be mentally strong because you can't let anything just trigger you. Like,
yeah, I remember when I will go through like really tough situations, I remember someone telling me like, instead of asking like why to God, why did you let this happen to me?
Yeah.
Ask why, what do you want me to learn from this, right? So I started to apply that to like people around me, like how I'd react to people, the way people treat me. So, you know, betrayal with friends, or you know, someone just, you know, family member talking a certain way to me, or anything, right? Like the way people treated me, instead of me seeing myself as a victim, like people treat me bad, or, you know, this and that, I would think about it like, what do you want me to learn from this situation? So if I just got into like an argument with somebody and, you know, I got offended, I would ask myself, okay, why does that comment affect me so much?
Yeah.
And trying to really understand that person. Like, you know, we don't know what that person is going through. Maybe they had a bad day. Like, we're so quick to like point a finger. Like, especially like us women, like we have so many emotions. Like we, you know, we run by hormones. Like, you know, one minute we're like, one week we're super happy, another week we're super sad, and sometimes it's like not taking things so personal, and forgiving, and being able to understand like, yeah, you know, we can't justify all actions, but it's like, okay, maybe I have to learn to be more forgiving, and maybe I need to learn to be more patient. And there were gonna be customers, family members who test our patience, but those situations, being in those situations, grow those characteristics in us, and we will become more patient later on in life. Later on in life, we learn to be more patient because of those circumstances. So it's like every time you're in like a tough pickle, I don't know, like you're in a like stop for a second, ask like, what can I learn from this? You know, I don't, maybe this is mirroring how you behave.
That's another thing, like you say, like, guys, every situation that you go through, it's for a reason. Even the worst ones to the best ones, every situation you go to, it's a learning experience for you. Look at it that way. Don't look at it as like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. Like, how do I get out of this situation? What can I do? Right? So now, next time it happens, one, you already know what to do because you've been through something like this. Or maybe in the future, someone needs your advice. And now you've already been through the situation. You're able to help this person through it. That's what we gotta do. We gotta help each other. Like, not one person's better than the other, or the other's better than the other. I try to be the most, like, I guess, humble as I can, you know. Maybe back in the day I probably wasn't. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, you know, back in the day, you know, I had that feeling of like, you know, as a man, we always want to be the best. We want to be number one. But now it's not, man, you know. I like to put other people before me. And you know that. And you know that's true. Like, I would sacrifice a lot of myself for the happiness of another person.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. And I might look serious and angry, like, but I'm really not. I really do have a big heart. Like, I do. And I'm willing to help everybody. And am I going to mess up? Am I going to do things wrong sometimes? Am I going to slip up? Yes. because I feel like sometimes in life we're trying to,
Because you're human.
yeah, because
we mess up because we're human.
yeah, sometimes we want to like experience how is this, you know,
Yeah.
or how's that? You want to experience all these things, and then you realize like I'm so dumb. Like, what am I doing? Like, and it's like at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't. You know what I mean? You like that's why you have to have that discipline. I guess that's why discipline is so important, because you have to let your no be no and your yes be yes. You know, you can't be like a like I actually did this in my preaching recently. Was like, you know, a man in this life without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder. So basically, like, you know, the rudder, the thing that guides you, like, you know, you get pushed by everything. You're not really being guided. You need that discipline. You know what I mean? And even Proverbs like 12:1 even says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. That's literally how it says it. Like one of the translations.
Yeah,
legit.
the Bible could be harsh sometimes.
Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid.
Yeah.
Man, you gotta be willing. You know how many times people have corrected me, and like, thank God for the military, because I'm able to like not take things too serious and actually receive these corrections.
It like gets something like angry in you to be corrected.
Some
like
people,
anybody,
dude,
like I don't know.
Some people are
sucks.
so prideful.
Yeah.
You try to correct them, and they think like, "Who are you to correct me?" Yeah. And it's like,
I think it's because sometimes, at least for me, it's like I'm trying my best,
yeah,
you know, and someone corrects me. I'm kind of like, man, like I can't be perfect. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I understand why people get upset about that, but I mean, we need that correction. It'll be the only way we're gonna learn. Yeah. And also, like what, even the times that we do mess up, it's important to talk about those times that we mess up, because that experience, and going back to, you know, everything that happens in our life happens for a reason. Yeah. Even when we mess up, that talking about that experience will help somebody else that might be falling into that situation, like, you know, messing up and some shit. And that's why I like volunteering to work with the younger generation, because, you know, anyone who's like a teenager, because I like talking about my experiences. Like, I messed up a lot as a teenager. I made a lot of mistakes, and I like to let them know, like, hey, like, not everything is as it seems out there. Like, you know, it might look fun, like, to try this and try that, but it all comes with a price. Yeah. And it's not really going to bring anything right for you. At least in the moment, yeah, of course. Like, it's going to be fun in the moment. But then 5-10 years go by, and you're kind of like, damn, like, what?
Like, how do you become addicted to drugs?
Yeah.
You need to try it.
Yeah, you need to try it. It takes one time to try it, and then maybe you were in your feelings that day. You know, you just got into a breakup. Let me just drink, because, you know.
Let me just try it. Maybe, and the next thing you know, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And now you're addicted. Yeah. Now it's like 10 years out and you can't stop.
Yeah. And I hear people say, oh, yeah, I tried it and I didn't like it. Well, great. That's super good. Like, you're lucky.
But it's rare.
But there are some people who, you know, struggle with that. And I understand that struggle, and just being able, if being able to get out of that addiction of, you know, drinking and smoking, being able to get out of that addiction, like, it was really hard. And being able to just like talk about my experience to other people, at least the younger ones that are coming, you know, now, you know, things are like weed, for example, like that's available to people who are
now. It's just go.
You know, it's in every corner in our city. It's in every corner now, like a dispensary. And all you need is your ID. But when we were growing up, that was illegal. So
it was always looked at bad. Like,
but now it's like, you know, those lines are like long, and it's kind of like, okay, that's,
you had to get the dealer. You had to be all sneaky about it.
And the problem is like, we know how hard it is to get out of it, but. You know, it's like, hey, like, right now it's going to be given to you so easily. Like, hey, it wasn't easy.
Like, I've had people that say they could, I could just stop. No, you can't.
Yeah, we used to say that all the time.
You know how many times I used to say that? Yeah, you could just, and then, well, I'm different. Okay, then stop.
Yeah.
Then stop. Do it for real. Really stop. Yeah. Let's see how long it goes. Yeah, maybe you can make it up to a month. Maybe. But your flesh is gonna want it.
No, even
and
years.
It's gonna crave it.
I've even taken like years of breaks and trying it again, and I think that I'm not gonna like it because it's been years. But no, it still makes me feel that, like, you know, I don't know, something. It makes me feel that, and every day I have to make a decision not to do it. And that's why every day it takes telling my mind. I mean, eventually there comes to a point where you don't really think about it
you don't
anymore.
even think about
But
it,
there was a time in my life where I would say like every single day I have to fight it, like fight, and man, like that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that
is. But
could be avoided.
But it's possible. So everybody that's listening, anything you guys really want to put your mind to, it's possible. You just need to have that discipline. Have that discipline and man, I just,
discipline is the key to success, literally in every single aspect.
Yeah.
You want to do a career, discipline yourself to study. You want to be healthier, discipline to work out every day, discipline to,
want to be good at a sport, discipline to practice.
Yeah.
Anything you do to be better, you need you need to be disciplined.
Yeah.
It's super important. If you want knowledge, you got to discipline yourself. And it's hard sometimes.
It's hard because you have to say no to what your body wants. In reality, it's what your body wants.
Because sometimes my body would want to just go relax, watch some Netflix. And next thing you know, I watched the whole series of Suits in like one day.
Especially when you work long hours.
You come home, you don't want to do nothing.
Yeah,
you're so mentally drained. You just want to go to sleep, shower, eat.
And you feel like your body deserves it. Like I worked all day. Like I deserve to go just lay down. But then it's kind of like,
we gotta take our cross. You gotta lift up our cross.
Also investing in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like that, think about it. That's only gonna benefit my body so that when I'm 80, I'm able to lift things and do this and that. But it's again, discipline is.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's possible. And it's just starting with small stuff. Literally.
That's it.
Just one thing, one tiny thing that you can start adding to your daily life that you're able to start doing every day. Yeah. It'll be a cool improvement to maybe something even more difficult that you really want to stop or start. So
yeah, guys, man, it's possible. I encourage you. And if you never read the Bible and you want some words of wisdom, read the Proverbs. Just go in there. Read the first couple of sentences.
Just Google it.
Just Google it. Proverbs. And just read about it. You know what I mean? Don't take it from me. Like whatever I say, you experience it for yourself. Try it out. Try to, maybe you don't believe in God and you don't believe in all that. Fine. Just go read.
Yeah, Proverbs Proverbs was the first book that I read when I came back to church, actually.
Yeah.
And I read it because I wanted to read something that was going to help me, I don't know, just better myself.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And I knew because of, growing up in church back in the day, I knew that Proverbs was meant for that. But I like that I did that because it was the foundation of my Christian life in a way, because it would be literally like, hey, remember this, remember that. And it was cool.
And everybody, if you want to better yourself in life and move up, the Bible can really help you. It really can. It really test it, read it, and you'll see how you start realizing you communicating with God and you want to prosper in life and move up in life. That is going to be a big help, and usually it's more than likely successful. Yeah, you could do it at your own will and everything. Of course, there's people that do it. Understandable.
Yeah, you don't need to.
But sometimes those that do it, they're like, "Oh, well, I don't need advice." Some people like that they don't need it. They think they don't need advice on that.
No, they know it all.
Everybody needs some type of advice.
Yeah.
So you just got to be willing to take it. So, yeah, I invite you guys, man. It was a very interesting conversation. Started with El Salvador. But it's very interesting stuff, man. What's going on in this world. And it's just to keep our eyes open. We'll get into more things later on, deeper into certain subjects. But yeah, I believe that, one day we're all meant to be happy and saved. And I believe also there's someone that's evil that wants to destroy this world and destroy everything that we have and stick us into some type of cycle of just eat, sleep, repeat type stuff. And that ain't it. That ain't the way to go for me. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for listening. I love y'all, man. Thank you. It's been amazing. And I don't know, you have any last words, babe?
Yeah, just hope all goes well for everybody listening, and hopefully that, you can grab something from this conversation, and, just hoping that we're able to reach somebody out there that needed to hear something positive.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But all right then, everybody. Hey, I love y'all. Thank you for listening. Y'all are amazing. Don't forget to look up Jeff's World on Instagram. Feel free to message me. Any questions, doubts, I'm here. And I'll reply. But listen in, share with your friends. Thank you all, and God bless you all everywhere you guys go. See you later, guys.